Hey, today is the seventh day of Navaratri, the Hindu holiday that celebrates the triumph of goddess Durga over the demon Mahishasura. So it is the triumph of the power of the feminine, the power of softness and vulnerability, the power of ambiguity and ability to see things from different perspectives over the demonic nature which we all have of certainty and dogma and stuckness and inability to move from our view, from our vision. So we have that in society, we have that inside ourselves, and the conversation is always about ourselves and more than ourselves. It's always about the personal and the universal, the collective and the individual. It's all together, mishmashed, and we are all a woven together tapestry of complexity, and Durga is the goddess of complexity. And the form that's celebrated today on the seventh day, is Kalaratri, which is one of the forms of Durga as Kali, or one of the forms of Kali as Durga. It's both and. It's Kala. Kala means time in Sanskrit, and it's the devouring energy that gives us life. It's the way that everything is food, that we are fed and nourished and held by the great mother, by the universe, by creation and creativity, by life itself. And we're also food. We're also being eaten by time itself. Hello, wrinkles. How's it going? You know what I mean? We are nourished and we are nourishment. And when our body gives its last breath, it also is going to begin to dissolve and become soil and become food for other things. So she's the power of death and also the power of life, because life and death are always intertwined. There's no death without life, but there's also no life without death. Even for me, I'm a vegan, and still I have to eat death. I have to eat a plant that is no longer connected to its source of life. For us to be nourished and for us to be alive, death is going to be a part of it. From the moment of conception, we begin the process of unfolding and becoming life in all of its complex and intertwined forms and reformulation of itself. And we are making death. As soon as we make life, we make death. And the French were so smart about it, right? The le petit mort, the little death is how they called an orgasm, because and also because the power of sexuality and sensuality are in this goddess very much. She's kind of unapologetic about her ferocity and unapologetic about the ferocity of her sexual energy and her sensuality. And she's that intertwined relationship between pleasure and pain, between the ecstasy of being alive and the suffering that's involved in it. She really is an unapologetic energy in general, and an unapologetic energy in relationship to sex and death and life, and how never separate those are from one another, how it is a woven together tapestry of reality. And she is the darkness that absorbs, and we all get reabsorbed in. She's now what we can consider in our modern understanding scientifically, and the understanding is limited, right? But she is dark matter. She's that which holds the whole universe together. She's the darkness of the night that gives birth to day. So Ratri means night, Kala is time. So she's the darkness of time, the darkness of the night. And Something I heard Douglas Brooks, my philosophy and mythology teacher, talks about is that she looks like a demon because the demons, and I'm totally paraphrasing, but it's because the demonic needs a divine representation, because we need to learn to assimilate the parts of us and integrate the aspects of ourselves that we want to send into exile. So in some ways, she's very much of the, even though she's an ancient goddess, an ancient form of the goddess, she is the way that the feminist movement now is reclaiming darkness as the source of life, and darkness as the goddess, and darkness as femininity, because it's been so demonized by the patriarchy. We're now reclaiming it as the source of life itself. And it is, life begins in the womb, in the darkness, and from the darkness we are born. And then darkness is so obviously associated with death. Right now we're in the season of the darkening days. The days are shortening, the nights are lengthening, we're moving deeper into fall, we're moving toward Samhain, so known as Halloween, right? The time of year that is ushering the great darkness of the winter solstice. So we're moving into, with Kalaratri, we're moving into an empowering and reclaiming kind of relationship with our own demonic. And in some places, Kalaratri is referred to or thought of as the aspect of Kali that emerges out of Durga's forehead when Durga's battling a horrible demon named Rakta Bija, whose blood makes more of himself. Whenever she tries to slay him and destroy him in the battlefield, a drop of blood reaches the ground and he makes more of himself. He clones himself, so he becomes an army of himself, and she just gets so rageful. And out of her rage, Kali is born. And then Kali sticks out her lolling tongue, and she drinks the blood. And this is a beautiful story, and I'm telling it so short and so quick in this moment, and we can get into it another time a little more deeply. But she drinks the blood of the demon, because we need to be able to drink and make part of ourselves the parts of us that we view as demonic. We need to find ways in our society to integrate the toxicity, because it's not going anywhere. So we need to take it in and assimilate it and find a place for it and learn to digest it. Learn to make the parts of us that we hate, the parts of us that we struggle with, learn to make those parts our own, because they are not separate from us. And when we demonize ourselves, we hurt ourselves, and therefore hurt our relationship with others as well. So the process here with Kalaratri, because it's the dark embrace of the night, it's to embrace our entirety, to assimilate the whole of our being, to drink and digest and make of ourselves every part, every aspect, right? There's a deep integration in this aspect of the goddess in this moment. So she's fierce and ferocious and scary, so that we can learn to create a sacred relationship with our scary and unwanted parts. And she rides a donkey, and how lovely is that, right? Because the donkey is an enslaved animal. It's the animal nature that is being ridiculed. In some ways, it's the way that the wild and the feminine and the darkness have all been sent to exile and ridiculed and made into something to fear and to push away, right? So the donkey is a great example of that. It's not the fierce tiger or the ferocious lion. it's the ridiculed donkey that she rides. So her vehicle is the ridiculed part, right? It's the enslaved part. It's the part that is also very wise and very stubborn. And in some way, it's kind of cool because the donkey is a very stubborn animal, and this is the goddess that battles Mahishasura, the demon of stuckness, and the demon is so stuck. The buffalo demon that's so stuck, we can't move him. Right, the immovable parts, the places where we're not willing to entertain that there's other perspectives that are a part of the story, other than how we see it, how we learned it, how we understand it, right? And this goddess that battles that demonic energy in the world is riding a stubborn animal, right? How cool is that? Look, really, Kalaratri is the representation of the ability to step into that which we are fighting as that which is necessary to embrace, that which we tend to be ashamed of, into that which we are going to assimilate and take in and make part of ourselves and honor, right? So there's something very powerful to take and to play with this goddess. And we're gonna do a little mantra, and we're gonna do a little mudra. So she also has 2 or 4 arms, and sometimes she holds a sword, and sometimes she has, again, her hand in Abhaya Mudra, as previous forms we played with, or another hand in Vara Mudra, which we've also played with. But she also holds the Vajra. The Vajra is the diamond that is this strong, powerful energy that light is, that can't be broken, kind of, right? Like a diamond's hard to break. So it's that strong energy that can't be broken, but it breaks the light. And when it breaks the light, it makes beauty, it makes color, it makes sparkles. And she also holds, and it also holds such the Vajra is the diamond, but it's also the thunderbolt. It's the ability to get a flash of wisdom, of inspiration, of knowing what to do, of finding our way. That sometimes it's a slow and deliberate process of transformation that we need to move into. That's that continuous process of transformation in life and on the path of yoga. But sometimes we need a flash, we need a strong, fast kind of an energy to shock the system into transformation. We need to be able to do both, and we need to take one into the other, right, to weave them together. So the thunderbolt, there's actually a mudra for Vajra, and it's like this: you hold your hands in Anjali, and then you interlace your fingers, and you let your thumbs just touch and the index fingers point up. And before we go into the mantra practice, I just want to invite you to a course in integration and in collaboration with all of our parts, a strengthening and a gathering of the energy so that we can direct it and work with it and find a way to surrender to it, because we can't really direct it, right? It's this play of paradox that we are going to engage in very deeply in this course called Bond with Your Life. And it's an invitation into deep relationship with ourselves, with each other, with the world, and it will help to regulate the nervous system during this stressful election season and support us in this period in history as we move through very difficult, painful, and kind of horrific times. So this is a call to integrate and to work with ourselves and exactly where we are in the world and in ourselves and in our lives. So I would love for you to join me. It's kind of an educational yoga course, but also an experiential, practical tool kind of a process, and it's a somatic mythopoetic journey into the unconscious and into our hearts and minds, and it weaves together and the tapestry of who we are, so that we can keep integrating who we are in the world further and deeper and more. So the details for that are on mamamandala.com. Again, it's called Bond with Your Life. I will leave a link in the description of the video. I hope that you can join me. It's going to be amazing. So without further ado, let's invoke and bring forth from within us the power of Kalaratri, the power of the night, of the darkness of our own being as an embrace of all that we are. So let your mudra, your Vajra mudra, rest in front of your heart, and let your eyes rest. Allow your breath to deepen as you turn your attention to it. Breathe in softly and receive your entirety. And breathe out mindfully to connect yourself to all that surrounds you. Breathe slowly in to receive yourself. And breathe slowly out to offer yourself. Breathe to allow where you are to be assimilated and received. And breathe out so that your surroundings receives you and you give yourself space to be in the world. And you can join me in singing if you'd like, or if you prefer, you can just listen to the mantra and allow it to move through you, however you want to do this. Om Devi Kalaratri Namaha. 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 Allow the light of who you are to emerge from the darkness as the darkness embraces the light and warmth, the radiance of your being. Allow the darkness and the light to dance. Allow yourself to be held in the dichotomy, in the paradox, in the complexity of the woven together tapestry of reality made of sparkles and sparks and heat and light and shadow and darkness and difficulties and struggles. Allow the entirety of life to be received and held, and allow yourself to be held and welcomed in the whole of it. May this Navaratri day bring you the blessings of being with the whole of you. Thank you so much for this time together. I really appreciate your being here. And I can't wait to bond with your life with you. So check that out, and also check out the article, the essay that I wrote for this day. Check out for all the days. In fact, they're all also on the Mama Mandala blog. So I'd love your thoughts about it. Check out the videos of previous days to weave together the entirety of the story. And I can't wait to hang out again. Okay, thank you so much. Mwah. Namaste.